Hello, welcome. I'm Pauline from Pauline's Quilters World. I just want to show you the basic steps to using the Sasher collection. Now, if you don't already know, we do 20 different sizes, different variations of these tools. They will fold your fabric as you iron, whether the fabric's on the bias or the straight grain. A lot of you may have bias makers, which are the metal tools, which are fantastic, but I find these so much better, easier to use, and there's so many more sizes. So if I want to do a binding for the edge of the quilt, and I've cut my fabric 2.5 inches wide, once I fold it in half, it becomes 1.25 inches. So I would use the 1.25 inch tool. All the measurements are written on top of every one of the tools, so you know exactly what size to use. Hold the tool by the handle, thread the fabric up from the bottom, go over that centre bar and straight back down. Then we're going to pin into the ironing surface. I suggest the double fork pin is the best pin to use to put good anchorage on both sides of this fabric. That is my recommendation. Bury the pin, hold the fabric so it's got a bit of tension on it. We'll just turn this board a little way so you can see what I'm going to be doing. Just hold some tension on the fabric. Normally I would be on my big ironing board and I'd pin at one end of the ironing board when I'm doing a big bias strip or binding strip. Now, the Sasher tool has a curve here, and that will fit the side of any iron, because all of our irons, whether it's a regular iron or a mini iron, they're curved at the side. So we've designed this with the curve in here to fit any iron. Hold the fabric straight and you just simply push with the iron. And that's how simple it is to fold a piece of fabric in half, perfect to make your binding for the edge of the quilt. You just keep moving your pin and working along the ironing board till you get the whole strip done. Now, if you wanted to make a sashing or a double fold binding to go around the neckline of a garment or something, or a sashing like we've got here, we don't want a raw edge. So I'll take this out, I'll go to the other end of the fabric. We're going to fold our fabric in and in till it meets. So this once again is a 2.5 inch wide strip of fabric. Once I fold it in and in till those ends meet, it still is now 1.25 inches wide. Up over that centre bar, pin into the ironing surface with the double fork pin to anchor it down and get equal tension on both sides. Hold the fabric so it's nice and straight. I find that just cupping up the sides, just using my fingers as a guide on the side, putting the iron into the curve and pushing, it just slides along there and gives you a perfect fold. Once again, about every 12 or 15 inches, move the pin and you just keep going down till you get the whole strip done. And that's how simple the tools are to use, any size. So the rule of thumb with your measurement is when you're trying to work out what size you need to cut your fabric or what size tool do you need to use, whatever tool you want, this is the finish measurement. So if you want a 1 inch finish sashing or binding or a bias strip, you'd get the 1 inch tool out of your pack, you would cut your fabric 2 inches wide. So the fabric's always double the measurement of the tool that you want to use. So simple to use. Now I just want to show you on some garments how we've used these tools to do bindings and all sorts of things. So here we've got a vest that I made up many years ago when I first designed these tools, and I've used the tools to do all the binding for around the edge of the garment. I've used them to do these strips, little taggles, use them to do that. So there's lots and lots of applications for these tools. Here we've made a little girl's gorgeous little summer dress. So we've used the 1/4 inch Sasher tool to do the binding around the edge, for the ties. This was I think this was a 1.25 inch tool we used here. We've even put the little trim through the hem here. We folded that in half through one of the bigger ones, and then we've put the little flap. So this went through the 2-inch tool and this one went through the 1/2-inch tool. And then we've just stitched them both in together, just overlock them in. So for any little trims on normal garment sewing, the Sasher tools are fabulous. Here's another little dress. We've used the tool to fold the piping. This doesn't have any cord in it. We just folded a 1/2-inch strip of fabric in half, so it became 1/4 inch. Then we've stitched it in with a narrow seam, and then we've got the little piping left around the outside. We used it for the hem once again, and we've got little adjustable straps on the back that we've just put clips on. So you can, as the child grows, you can extend this out or you can pull it in really tight. So we've made these little ties with the Sasher tool. Here I've just had a pre-bought little jacket. When my granddaughter was small, I wanted to dress it up a bit, so I've used the Sasher tools to make this little feature belt around here. I used it to do the cuffs, just pulled them in with a little yo-yo on the side. Done the bias around here to add some lace, put some bias down here to add the little trim. So it was like a $2 little sweatshirt, and I dressed it up to make it pretty unique for her. And then once again, I've used it when I've made this vest. I've used it to do the armbands. Just cut a piece 4 inches wide, put it through the 2-inch tool, folded in half, then stitched it on. The band around the bottom it was used for all of these strips here. Added some trim here and here. So I just find no matter what sewing you do, you can use these fantastic Sasher tools. And let me tell you, I am the original designer of these tools. There's people out there copying us, but they're doing an inferior product. A lot of people are paying for them, not receiving them. We can guarantee you'll have a wonderful, wonderful experience with our original Sasher tools. So have a look at our website, www.pqw.com.au. Subscribe for our newsletter. Go to our YouTube channel and see all the other uses for these fantastic Sasher tools. So thank you for your support and happy stitching till next time.